to do is talk about a question that I always had. Question that, how do I set up? What do I do? When I hear him gobble, he's across the way. What do I do? I never knew that. It took me a long time to learn that on my own, and figure it out. And we can talk about some of our experiences that we've had, things that's brought us a little more luck than things that haven't, things that seem to help us. So maybe somebody else finds it easier to.
You know, a lot of the tricks that that people talk about now, you know, I learned on my own. I didn't have anybody tell me those things. So there's a lot of trial and error. So we'd like to take some of that out for some of you.
So let's start with some things. I've read a lot of Facebook. I read a lot of posts on turkey hunting questions, especially from newer turkey hunters and even older turkey hunters, for that matter. But I always see the answers that come to, you know, hey, how do I set up on this bird? What do I do when he gobbles? You know, how do I pick a setup spot? And that was something I always questioned myself. And I was taught to turkey hunt from a guy that's been turkey hunting 40 years, and it never was quite clear to me, that answer. And this is probably not the only way, but it's a good way, and I've heard it used a few times here lately, and I decided I wanted to try to share that, is hide the hen.
Right, hide the hen.
You know, you're a hen. You're trying to talk him into coming to you, and you know, I take that in a couple of different ways of, hey, I got to hide myself. I got to get behind the bushes. I got to get behind the trees. I got to sit in a blind or something to hide that hen. I'm hiding myself.
Right.
And
that's just a part of it.
That's one little small piece of it.
It's just part of it.
One little small piece. And if you look at the bigger picture of it, you see that I'm not only hiding myself out of view of him with stuff in front of me, but I've got to hide that hen so that when he comes into the picture, he can't see her from 100 yards away. If he can see 100 yards and he can see there's no hen, he ain't coming.
He's not coming. He's not coming. A lot of hunters will talk about a bird hanging up just outside of shotgun range, and the truth of the matter is, you know, it's natural for the hen to go to the gobbler. Yes. I think most people know that. So we're trying to make things happen the opposite. So when that gobbler, that turkey gets up, and he's supposed to see a hen because he knows exactly, trust me, that joker knows exactly what tree you're sitting on.
He's got the best GPS in the woods.
Absolutely. If you've done your job, then he at least has some questions in his mind, if you've done a good job. So when he comes into range or just outside of range, you need him to question where that hen is. Yeah. And there's a lot of other facets to that, but we're strictly trying to limit this to how you set up.
You're going to hear woodsmanship. These old turkey hunters say, oh, woodsmanship kills more turkeys than anything. They're exactly right.
Yeah.
But they're not explaining what that really means. And they'll say, oh, you need to know the lay of the land. All these type things you hear over and over. Well, and if I write that in crayon for me to understand, I have to say, I want to keep him on the other side of the hill from me. Right. I want to keep a little hump. It can be the smallest hump, but I want to keep something between me and him that he can't see through.
That's exactly right.
And then I want to start looking for a setup, a tree. I want a big enough tree to hide my big old head and shoulders and everything. I want to sit on a tree that's big enough for that. But more importantly, I want that hill or that hump or that swell in the ground to keep him from being able to see where that hen's at, because he knows where she's at from the calling. He knows exactly where she is. If he can see that spot, he ain't coming. But if he can't see it for the hill, then he's got to come over that hill. And he knows he's got to come over that hill. When he comes over that hill, I want to be pulling the trigger. I don't want to wait another 20 yards or another 40 yards for him to come on down the hill. As soon as he tops that hill, I want to be within shooting shotgun range of that bird when he comes over the hill.
That's correct. And that's where, you know, the hanging up thing comes into play. There, a lot of times the bird's not hanging up. The bird is just expecting to see what's calling at him, a hen. And if it doesn't see the hen, he's not coming. And, you know, anyway, a lot of times when that bird hangs up at 60 yards, he's really not hanging up. He's just expecting to see a hen calling back at him. So you've got to not only know to be hidden so that bird will keep coming, but you got to quit calling, soft call, do all those things to entice that bird on in. So a lot of times it's not the bird hanging up, it's you making a mistake, possibly in where you're setting up, or how much you're calling, or how loud you're calling. It could be any of those things. But I guarantee you, if you set up right, when that bird pops up over the hill, he's in range, and
It's gonna seal more deals than it breaks.
absolutely, absolutely, it's a huge part. It's a huge part of being successful.
So in the mornings when we go out and we're owl hooting and we hear one gobble, you know, a couple 100 yards away, the first thing I'm thinking is not run towards that bird. I'm thinking of how can I put a hill between me and him,
Or something.
between me and him, so that one, he can't see me move, and then number two, once I sit down and this is where I'm going to kill him at. Am I 40 yards or am I in range when he can actually see where that hen should be? That's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to look around to my left, right. You know, can he circle me? What can he do? And if I can keep that all in a range of where he can't see me without coming into range, then I'm better off for that. I got a better chance of getting that bird. You know, if he can't see me, I can scratch the leaves, which really fires him up. If he can't see me, you know, I can adjust my gun to where he's gobbling at and get a little better aim of where he's about to come over that hill at. And so hide the hen is it means a couple of different things. It means, one, hide yourself, but it also means hide from him with a hill in between you or some type of terrain feature in between you so that he can't see you until he's in range.
Right.
If you're on a flat piece of property and he can see 300 yards, chances of calling that bird in without a decoy, slim.
I can guarantee you he's going to hang up a line further out than,
Yes.
say, 60 or 100 yards,
Yeah.
where everybody claims the bird hung up. No, he could just see you. That's all there is to
Or
it.
he couldn't see you.
Yeah,
He
right,
couldn't
right.
see. He knows where that hen should be standing at,
That's exactly right.
and he can't see her there. But he's got a clear view. I can't see her, so I'm not going any further until she makes a move.
That's exactly it. And understand, this is not a new concept to many seasoned turkey hunters. This is, you know, we don't want to sound like we're some authority on this, because we're absolutely not. It's just simply that being self-taught, and as I grew as a turkey hunter, I really had nobody to tell me this.
They would tell you woodsmanship.
Yeah, they tell you.
Hey, you need to know woodsmanship. You need to know the lay of the land. You need to not move, be still. You know, keep good cover around you. But they didn't really explain it, you know, in kindergarten terms, because that's where you were when you were that new turkey hunter with that question.
Right.
You were in kindergarten, and you wanted to learn. That's why you was asking those questions. But the way they explained it to you wasn't quite on your level. So now I would like to really take this video and take it to the woods.
Yeah, it's important. It's a slight, but there's always slight terrain differences wherever you hunt.
So I know you're gonna get a question. I know we're gonna get a question of what if where I'm hunting's really flat?
Yeah, yeah.
And you got to use the same tactic. You got to think the same way of how do I keep something between me and him that he's got to come around to see where the hen's calling from. That can be a curve in the road. It could be a sharp turn in the road, and he's on the other side of the turn. You set up 30, 40 yards from this side of the turn. He's got to come around the turn before he sees you.
It's got to be something.
It's got to be something there, you know, or maybe there's just a thick wall of brush, you know, all a pine tree, small pine tree plantation, or whatever. It's all thick. He's not coming through that. He's got to go around it. You set up where he's got to come around at, 30 or 40 yards from it,
Yeah.
so that when he can see you, you can see him. Y'all see each other at the same time. You got that advantage. Next time you got one goblin, think about those things. How do I keep a hill between us? How do I keep a curb between us? How do I keep some thick woods between us? Something he's got to come around to see where you are before he has a chance to hang it.
It's not just about a big tree.
It's not just about sitting on that big tree. I've done that for years. So think about those things. And we always say hide the hen. That's just a code word we use, hide the hen, and that means how do we keep a hill between us? How do we keep some brush between us? How do we keep something that turkey can't see that hen or think he should be able to see that hen before he gets in the range?